Okay, what's up guys, welcome back to another Edge of Fate video. I recently had the chance to visit Bungie HQ and get some hands-on time with the Edge of Fate and play an early version of the game. Quick disclaimer, this stuff is all subject to change and may not be in the full release version that will be playable on July 15th. I was able to view and cover all sorts of content from the Edge of Fate. I wanted to quickly mention there is going to be a playlist in the top right of the screen now where you can find all of my content and videos related to the upcoming DLC. From exotics, endgame weapons, the roles available to chase on said weapons, builds, new origin traits, different loot tiers, specific weapon reviews and breakdowns. You can find all of it here in one condensed playlist. As you can tell from the title of today's video, this one is going to be a dedicated gameplay video on a returning favorite, Not Forgotten. Not Forgotten is now sporting its brand new name, the Solemn Remembrance, in its maximum tier 5 form. Access to this event was super limited, so obviously the PvP matchmaking playlist was dead, and our only option here to bring you guys some PvP footage was to be brave enough to 1v1 Wallah in a private match. It was a little intimidating as Bungie did the seating plan and they ended up sitting us right next to each other as we were the PvP focused guys. But I paint the picture for you. In this gameplay, we're both on foreign setups, we're sitting together, kind of trash talking and making fun of each other every time we kill one another. We could even see each other's screens. It really was not that serious. We were just having fun with it and enjoying the experience of getting to play at Bungie. At one point I even reached over to like press the escape key on his keyboard just to mess with him. This is a really close game with a one final kill to decide it. There's no bragging rights involved here. I'll start letting that footage play out in the background, and if you're curious about some other new weapons that we 1v1'd with and would like to see some more, please let me know and I'll bring you some more Edge of Fate 1v1 footage between Wallah and I. This might be the first ever 1v1 recorded directly from Bungie's HQ, and it's definitely the first one on a private test build, which is kind of a cool thing to think about. I was really grateful for the opportunity and thankful to the devs for taking their time out of their days to be so receptive and responsive to my feedback and making me feel so welcomed, and I hope we represented the PvP community well with our feedback. The role you're seeing in the gameplay on the Solemn Remembrance, God, it is going to take a while to get used to calling it that, but the role I was using in today's video is Arrowhead Break, Extended Mag, Slide Shot, Opening Shot, and Smooth Grip, all of which were enhanced, and this role also had a range master work. It felt amazing to shoot, but unfortunately was really lacking range at just 44 range. The role Wallah ended up rocking was a hammer-forged, accurized, Zen Moment, and Keepway roll with Polymer Grip, leaving him at an 82 range stat. I'd say I had the better, more consistent feeling perks, and Slide Shot was a huge plus, but Wallah had pretty much double my range, so it seemed like a fairly even trade-off. Let me know which role you'd rather use in the comments below. For me personally, it's no question, I'm taking the higher range role every day. I did reach out to some other creators who were invited to the event to ask about the roles they were given to see if I could fill you in on more of the perk pool, and obviously the gun is not in the API yet, so it's not just as simple as checking out D2 Foundry. I'm going to try and show a visual on the screen of all the perks we know that can roll on it. In perk 1 we have Slide Shot, Moving Target, Lone Wolf, Zen Moment, Impromptu Ammunition, Headstone. And in slot 2, this is completely stacked. We have Opening Shot, Magnificent Howl, Keep Away, Precision Instrument, Eye of the Storm, Rhyme Stealer, and Firefly. It seems strange as it's 6 options in the first slot and 7 options in the second slot, but these are the only perks we've seen coming up across multiple roles. There could be another long lost perk somewhere, or maybe it's an entirely new perk that Bungie didn't want us to have access to in this build, I don't know. So when we're looking at what I would want in this thing for PvP, I'd be in between Small Bore and Hammer Forge for the barrel, definitely Accurized rounds and Slide Shot, and then it's a toss up. Honestly, anything in the last slot other than Rhyme Stealer or Firefly is going to be really strong in PvP. I think it kind of depends on if I'm playing 6v6 or 3v3. I've always really loved Magnificent Howl in 6s, especially when combined with Slide Shot, because you can keep getting precision kills and sliding to stack up multiple extra damage Magnificent Howl bullets. I'm not sure how much damage perks are going to help us in 3v3 here, so I'd probably shoot for an overall consistency perk like Eye of the Storm or Keep Away, depending on how much range I already have elsewhere on the roll. We were obviously recording this in a closed environment and only managed to get some raw gameplay captured, so there is no live commentary for this. So instead of complete silence, we're going to be doing a rare voiceover video and discussing my general thoughts. I wanted to use this chance to ask you how you feel about the Not Forgotten returning, because from where I stand, there's 2 ways to look at it. This gun is iconic in the Crucible, there's absolutely no denying that. However, I do feel that it's harder to be excited about it when we've already received the Luna's Howl revamped in a shiny version, with the strongest Crucible perks that we know will also be rolling on the Solemn Remembrance. Like, Into the Light's version of Luna's Howl already got Slide Shot, it already got Magnificent Howl and Precision Instrument. It's really hard to say if it's going to feel that different or if Bungie just decided to do this for fan service. Maybe this is a pessimistic take, because in reality this is a big upgrade, and this is the gun we all really wanted in the first place, so maybe I should just be happy to have my hands on it now. Don't get me wrong, the tier 5 enhancements are still a sizable upgrade. The shiny ornament and the kill effect are great too, but I can't help but wonder how much more excited I'd be right now if we didn't already have the Luna's Howl back. And to that vein, I'm kind of curious as to why they decided to bring Luna's back in the first place. They must have had a master plan to hold back the Not Forgotten the entire time, planning to re-release it at a later date and hoping the players would be willing to regrind it. However, I will say I'm so glad the source of this gun is from the competitive playlist. It's one of the most infamous and powerful PvP weapons in the history of Destiny 2. If we take a peek back to Forsaken and the 180 version of this weapon, it's definitely become a complete icon. The desire for me to grind the current comp weapon is just so much higher when it's a weapon I know I'm going to enjoy using in PvP. The Rose and Deadlock pretty much had me living in the comp playlist, whereas weapons like the Riposte, although it is a great auto rifle, just didn't incentivize me enough because I didn't think I'd use it enough to justify the time investment. In terms of combinations, seeing as the Solemn Remembrance is a stasis option, it's going to be taking up our top slot. Therefore, I'd be looking for an energy slot shotgun to pair with it. We have two options here depending on the playstyle and game mode. We're going to come down to the slug shotgun versus pellet shotgun. I typically find a little more utility with slugs in Trials of Osiris, where a pick is such a huge advantage. The gameplay becomes slower. Sure, they're slightly harder to use as we need to hit that crit shot. The staggering range makes it worth getting used to for me. Inquisitor would be first choice if you have a good one, but the Unvoiced, Legato, even the Duality Exotic would definitely do. Then we have pellet options, which I'll always default to in 6v6 modes. With the Edge of Fate, we're seeing the brand new Principial Precision Frame Shotgun. This can come fully enhanced with a tier 5 version with access to amazing PvP perks like Lone Wolf or Threat Detector in slot 1, and then Opening Shot in slot 2. This will definitely become my go-to. I talk about all of the roles available on the Principial, as well as all of the other new guns over on the Edge of Fate weapons video, which will be linked to the top right of the screen now. If you'd like to check that out, see what the loot is going to be available to start grinding in the Edge of Fate. Quick side note that I haven't actually touched on in any video yet. There's actually going to be an entirely new playlist in the Edge of Fate called Cutting Edge. This playlist only allows you to queue if you have currently featured gear, which effectively for weapons means you have to use the new stuff. I love this idea because there's nothing more infuriating than seeing people use the same boring overpowered weapons years after release like the Immortal had or the Redrix meta. I believe the exotic armor that's featured and therefore eligible to use in the Cutting Edge playlist is on a rotation. I'm not sure if it's weekly or if it's seasonal or how that works. Just be prepared because sometimes you may have to take off that exotic you've been crutching so hard. And who knows, maybe you'll enjoy it and realize there is a version of the game that can be played without Stompies, Ophidians, Dunes, or Peacekeepers after all. Bungie even going to incentivize you to play this playlist by giving you bonus rewards for participating in the Cutting Edge playlist, which I think is a really nice touch. At this point in the video, we are nearing the end of the footage, so I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of the gameplay play out because it does get really intense. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today by watching today's video, and if you want to see any of the other 1v1s between Wallah and I, then please let me know in the comments down below. If you do, be sure to let me know by dropping a like on this video and hitting the sub button with noties on to make sure you don't miss out on the next one. That's all for now, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!